That Jack Daniels bottle saw more action in 10 minutes than you have in the last 5 years.
So I guess I'll open since you opened last week.
Do it. You won't. You won't.
I won't, because I don't want to, but I will. All right. Hello and welcome to the Triggercast, where all genders are welcome, even if you don't know what your particular gender is. I identify as a pizza slice, Dan's an attack chopper, and I think Marco's a Mexican?
Um, Last time I checked, Mexican wasn't a gender, but you're not wrong.
Well, these days, I mean, if attack chopper and a pizza slice can be genders, I mean, ethnicities, I guess?
Yeah, it's all the same. You know, they all kind of fall into the same category. See, instead of ethnicity and genders, we just call them identifiers. That way we can group them all together.
There you go.
Alphabetically.
And get the colors in while we're at it.
Why not?
So what have you been playing lately?
I'm so glad you asked.
Woo!
So my girlfriend got me Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yay!
Just as one of those random presents that couples do, because we're absolutely so gross and cute like that.
Random my ass.
I like it. It is fucking amazing. It is definitely deserving of the AAA banner. It's
Right.
It's basically like a playable movie so far. I'm only like 2 or 3 hours in.
Since
But
you
yeah,
won't spoil it for
loving
me,
it.
exactly are you? Because I'm much further than you. I have like 40 hours in.
Like the first mission as an adult.
Okay. I know where you're at.
Then,
But didn't you... Oh, sorry,
what?
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, didn't you enjoy how they handled her from little girl to adult? Like, really... To me, it felt very well to convey the basic premise of the game, like the tutorial, and a little backstory while you're at it.
Yeah, it was amazing. There was one particular detail that I picked out while I was watching not the intro, it's more like the tutorial stage videos. Is that as a child during the "Let's teach you how to hunt" scene, she does like this little skip before she starts running, and it seemed very like it's a very minor detail, but it seems so natural that you completely just kind of overlook it, and it makes it all more, I don't know, immersive, real, you know? But it has like Pixar level attention to detail, and I'm really, really liking it.
Right? It's very well done. I mean, for an open world game, on PS4 and Xbox One, and hitting a very good frame rate even on the base models. What they were able to squeeze out of these consoles is breathtaking.
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
It reminds me of the very last games that you would get for a console, where they're like so amazing, and you didn't realize that the console could do such good graphics. Like what they did with the PS3 and Metal Gear Solid 4, you were like, what? And then 2 years later, the console's dead. Not dead, it's just not primary.
No, you're right. And to kind of harken back to your end of life console level, it reminds me of when we were like gushing over Tomb Raider 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5,
Yep.
and God of War. I was gushing over God of War Ascension. You didn't play it right away from what I remember.
No, I only played it like, I think last year.
Okay. But I mean, even in 2016, doesn't God of War Ascension still feel like a PS4 game on a PS3?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was so I may or may not have streamed it at work on my lunch break with the PlayStation Now service, which is an interesting service at best, by the way. And even while it was streaming, it looked so good, and it played so smoothly. I was like, I can't believe this is a PS3 title.
Right?
That
My
felt
favorite...
more like it
Sorry,
should
go
have
ahead.
been developed for like early PS4, but I'm glad it was out.
My favorite part about God of War Ascension is the particle effects and the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it blew me away. I'm like, and The Last of Us, I forgot to mention that as because it was a 2013 title as well.
Yeah.
Those games, you just, you go into the PS4 and you're like, why did I get a PS4 right away if PS3s are still doing this,
Exactly my point. Yeah.
PS4s have yet to, well, they're starting to now with, about this time, we're going to start seeing greater things like, Horizon Zero Dawn, as they learn to tap more into and, get more proficient with the materials at hand. I can't
Yeah.
wait for the end of this life cycle.
Yeah. Another one that it's kind of in the same category. I can't remember what it's called right now. Hold on, I'm looking it up. It's the Days Gone. Days Gone looks amazing from the E3 playthroughs which they actually use the PS4 Pro for, apparently.
Okay.
So the graphics that you get, that we hope to get from Days Gone,
Yeah.
look awesome, PC level.
Ooh.
Well, I wouldn't know that for sure.
It depends on the game developer and the game and the port for the PC copy, but yeah, usually a lot of your more expensive AAA games can look almost like 1-to-1, but it's just, they're things they sacrifice like frame rates and whatnot, but I mean,
Yeah.
most people don't really, as long as it holds stable, won't really mind, even though I don't agree with that, but that's an argument we've had for a while. I wouldn't even really say argument, more like discussion.
Years. Feels like
Or maybe it
years
is
now.
a bloody argument, who knows.
Who knows?
But perfect example, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at it on consoles, you look at the PC copy, obviously there's more detail, but I mean, they're almost 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you turn up, the special settings. Like super duper great mods.
Yeah.
What? We can amplify our games with mods, you can't.
Well,
Unless you're playing Fallout 4 with 1 gigabyte limit of mod support.
or Skyrim.
Oh yeah, well that's the same thing, Bethesda. You only get 1 gigabyte on PS4.
Yeah, I've so far been unsuccessful trying to get any mods from the mod store on Skyrim. But hey, I'm hopeful.
Hey, in 5 years you'll have a much better PC or console, and you'll be like, screw modding Skyrim, I'm moving on.
Yeah. Well, by then maybe I might have beaten it, maybe, but probably not.
You won't.
No, probably not.
I'm just gonna place money on that now.
See, I can't even take that bet because I know that you're likely to be right.
Come on. I mean, we're it's a 5-hour campaign. We haven't really specified the terms, Maybe you might do a 5-hour campaign in the next year. Who knows?
Maybe. I doubt it. Anyway, the other game that I've been playing is Rain World.
Okay,
Rain World is such a good game.
Because I was about to say, I still have yet to play it. I've been a little behind. I've been meaning to.
It's got a really, really interesting and fun learning curve, actually. It's like Dark Souls, but pixelated and in its own world and its own characters. But might be going into spoiler territory for any of you that haven't picked it up. But no, I mean for the listeners. I don't give a fuck
screw
about
the
you.
listeners.
So, when you're starting off the game, it doesn't give you a whole lot of tutorials. It doesn't hold your hand at all. It tells you like the basic operations of the controller, and it's like, go survive. So the entire time you're trying to figure out like what's going on and like what to look for. And so there's these giant salamander crocodile looking things that obviously try to eat you. And so those have been the only antagonizers that I had found in the game thus far. So it goes through cycles, and every couple of days it'll start raining and you need to go find shelter. If you don't find shelter, you die and you go back to the last time you did find shelter or hibernated. Anyway, so I'm going in the direction that I think is correct, and I come across this patch of like little blue flowers that are all pointed towards me, and I'm like, huh, that's cool and interesting, and like a nice little detail. There were none of those alligator salamander things around, so I took my time through it, and I walked through this patch of flowers, and I realized that I wasn't going anymore. Like, I was stuck in these flowers. I'm like, God damn it, my game glitched. And then I realized that these flowers were actually drawing me back into the ground. They're carnivorous flowers, and there's absolutely no way to tell until you walk through a patch of them.
Holy shit.
I had no idea. And I was so close to the next shelter point, not even funny.
Talk about convenient.
Yeah, I know. So that's the level of the learning curve that you need to be aware of. So like anything from giant alligator looking salamander things to a little patch of flowers can fuck you over hard. So it's such a fun game, and trying to figure that out little by little.
If you guys didn't realize, Marco is a sadomasochist. He enjoys stuff like this.
That's the thing, though. I normally don't. Like, Dark Souls, I couldn't stand that game. Demon Souls, I picked it up for free, and I never played more than 5 hours. But for some reason, I'm in love with Slugcat. I keep coming back to this Rain World game, and I'm enjoying it greatly. So, thanks to those guys over at Adult Swim for publishing the game, and I think I can't remember who. Stand by.
As he clicks on keys to figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Video Cult, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks to the guys over at Video Cult for creating this little masterpiece of a game.
Have they developed any other games, out of curiosity?
An excellent question, and the answer you're looking for is right here.
I can't see anything. It's a podcast, Marco.
I know, I'm looking through it right now. I was just trying to buy some time. Apparently not. It doesn't look like it. I'm on the Video Cult website, and the only game they have listed here is Rain World. So this might be the only one that they've made thus far.
I'm booting up Steam. Once I get in, I can know for sure by going to their page and clicking on their dev section, and it'll give me a list of games. Rain World, here you are. Store page, please. Alrighty, come on. Developer Video Cult. Just Rain World.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Hey, for their first game, they're hitting it out of the park. I mean,
yeah,
let's go back to their...
Smashed it out of the park. Aw, man. I'm looking at some screenshots here, and there's some creatures in here that I've never seen in the game, so just spoiled it for myself. Oops.
Out of 367 user reviews, they have an 85% rating on Steam, and they've been out for just under a month. That's not bad.
Impressive. It's a good game.
So, are you aware that Ubisoft, yet again, has made Ghost Recon Wildlands on sale?
No. Wow.
Yeah.
It really...
I should specify first, it's on the Sony store, by the way.
Okay.
I was surfing my PS4 beforehand, and they have a Ubisoft sale, and I saw Wildlands for $44.99. I was laughing because I was like, how many times has this game been on sale in the past 2 months it's been out, or 1 month?
That's sad.
I don't think the player base is really there.
Yeah, I know. I told myself... Well, you remember when we were talking about this in the beginning, I would definitely pay $40 for this. I don't know about 44. That extra $4...
Well, I would actually hold out for 30 or less because, I mean, it's been on sale so often. I mean, who knows? By the time June rolls around with the summer sales and whatnot, you might be able to get a better deal.
That's true, actually. During E3?
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. I might hold out for that. But because I'm an honest person most days, I'm still clinging to that $40 price point because I feel like $40 is okay for that game.
What happens if it doesn't hit 40 before the summer sale, then hits 25 in the summer sale?
Then that would be normal because that always happens when I buy things more expensive than you.
Okay. I'm just trying to see where the, for lack of better words, the truth area would be for you.
Oh, no.
Moral.
I would definitely... I don't know if I would jump on it at $40, especially if you don't have it. because the only other person that I would play with would be my brother, and I don't know if he's getting it anytime soon. So
sorry, go ahead.
So if it came down to $40, I would consider it, but it wouldn't be one of those things where like as soon as I see it, I buy it.
I'm more inclined to probably pick up a better co-op game to play with you than Wildlands, unless Wildlands magically goes to 30 or less in the next couple of months.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was actually about to ask, is Andromeda co-op? Because I would be more inclined to go with that route than Wildlands, because I feel you and I would have a lot more fun.
Yeah,
unfortunately, no, it doesn't support co-op.
Correct. It does have co-op missions that you can do.
So like Far Cry 3?
I don't know. I've never played Far Cry 3 all the way through. But
sorry, go ahead.
It's more like I'm trying to I can't remember the game that I'm thinking about, but it's only certain missions, certain side missions that like you can either dispatch a strike team similar to like what you did with Mother Base in Metal Gear Solid 5, or you can do them yourself with a partner online.
Oh, so basically we can just do base attacks on each other. Like,
yeah,
fuck you, I've got the better base than you, mister. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Pretty much the same thing, except it's obviously not base oriented.
So, did you know that Outlast 2 came out today?
Yeah, I noticed. I was actually scrolling through the new games, which I haven't done so far.
I'm excited as hell.
But go ahead.
I was gonna buy it today, but then I realized it's a 30 gigabyte download, so I'm gonna hold off till Friday, so when I can just download it while sleeping and then Saturday play it, because there's no point for me to get it now, because I'd just wait till the weekend to play it anyways.
True.
The thing that this game has my curiosity on is I really love the first one. I loved Whistleblower, the expansion to the first one. Mm-hmm. And $30 for a 13-hour game has my attention more than $60 for a 10-hour game with the season pass.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna call out Capcom. Sorry, I'm gonna call out Capcom. Get your shit together.
It's true. I mean, if you're gonna sell a complete title, then you probably got the upper hand on the market already.
Yeah,
just based off of that.
Exactly. And I know what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to compare Outlast 2 to Resident Evil 7 since Outlast 2 came out second. Yeah. Bed, please. I'm having laundry delivered.
Nice.
What is it called?
You're getting cut out.
Oh, sorry.
I mean...
For real.
Oh, we're recording. I'm going to cut you out in the post. Haha. Oh, I'm talking to Marco, by the way. Anyways, where were we? Triggercast, brah.
That has to be our initial tagline for today.
Yeah, the Triggercast, episode number 8, the Triggerman. Which one is the Triggerman?
It's a mystery and a podcast.
I'm actually not going to cut this out now. This is gold.
Dang.
Because if I cut out this section and then we all of a sudden start talking about Triggerman, people are like, what?
Don't
All right, Migs, you're in the podcast.
Congrats.
He's not getting paid.
Passed his audition.
He just walked into my room. That's how he passed.
Yeah.
Well, he knocked. He had courtesy, so yeah. Anywho, where were we?
Outlast 2.
But I can't remember exactly where my... Oh. I was going to say, with how Resident Evil 7 had a season pass and whatnot, Outlast 1 didn't have a season pass. It had an expansion.
Right.
That was about the same size as the first game, maybe a little shorter, but almost on par. And the prices weren't unreasonable. And you were getting, an expansion. Outlast 2 doesn't have a season pass or any DLCs at the moment, or that I'm aware of. Because I'm on the Steam page right now looking, and it doesn't say anything about season pass or DLCs. I'm going to go on on a limb here and assume they're just going to do another expansion-based thing on Outlast 2 or just make Outlast 3. I haven't played Outlast 2 yet. Obviously, it came out today. Once I beat it, I'll know for sure, and I'm definitely going to sink my teeth into it this weekend.
For sure. Might I also make you aware?
Go ahead. I thought you were going to say For Honor.
No. So, getting right into the new PlayStation games, out today in retail. The Outlast Trinity Collection, the critically acclaimed franchise, is now available for the first time on a disc as a complete package. The bundle features more than 20 hours of terrifying gameplay across Outlast 1, Outlast Whistleblower, and all new Outlast 2. Remember, this is retail only.
And it's also only PS4 and Xbox One, by the way.
Correct.
For $40, mind you. I did research on this beforehand.
I can tell. And then, obviously, Outlast 2 is out on digital for PlayStation.
Did you know the company Red Barrels is based in Canada?
No, I had no idea. Oh, that's funny. Huh. Where in Canada? Does it say, or is it just
I'd have
Canada?
to get back to the Wikipedia page.
That's fair.
It doesn't say on Steam, but I was doing research on Wikipedia earlier. Outlast 2, the studio.
It doesn't really say much when people say it's based in Canada. Canada's a big fucking country, man. It's like the second largest country in the world.
Headquarters
in Canada, you can drive for 45 minutes and not even be out of your driveway yet.
I thought you were going to say for $45.
Maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't.
Well, Canada is massive. I mean, if you think about it, the length of the United States not as wide, but I mean, you're split up into what, sections, or what is it called?
Why does it always come down to length and girth for you?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the Triggercast without some sexual innuendo.
Hey, welcome to the Triggercast, people.
The Triggermen.
I like that.
But the studio... Sorry,
we can change our titles from hosts to Triggermen.
Ooh, we are the Triggermen. We're no longer hosts. We're Triggermen. That is perfect. Michael deserves $5.
Yeah.
I'll buy him an ice cream cone. With no ice cream in it.
Here's an ice cream cone. Do whatever you want with it. Packs it with hot dogs and beef.
I need the house cut first, so I have to take away 10%. Take away the base of it.
Oh.
Now you want some ice cream? It's just going to flow right out.
Oh, it's a funnel then. It's not even a cone. It's just a funnel.
I'll get him an oil funnel. Here, work on the car you don't have with this.
Oh. That sounds like a shitty deal. Anyway.
But
going back to Outlast.
Sorry. The studio Red Barrels is in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
The Frenchies.
Well, I mean, some of these names are very Frenchy, like David Chateauneuf, Chateauneuf. That's a very French last name if I saw one.
Chateauneuf.
Sorry, I can't say it right. I'm white.
I think, I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but that sounds like Castle 5. Mansion 5? What's Chateau mean?
Doesn't Chateau mean castle in French?
That's what I thought. So Castle 9. That's interesting.
That dude has a boss last name. He's David Castle.
Whoa! Any relation to Frank?
God, I hope not. I just made fun of the guy on a podcast.
You're gonna die.
Fuck! If they send they have to send Tom Jane if they're gonna kill me. Has to be Tom Jane. I'm not being killed by Dolph Lundgren.
I have a point on this, but we gotta.
You do, and that's why I brought it up.
God damn it! I'm triggered.
When the Triggermen trigger the Triggermen.
Oh, that's meta.
It can't always be video games.
We're never gonna finish talking about Outlast 5 at this rate.
No, we're done.
All right. Shall I go through the new games? of the week?
Yes, please. I will not interrupt this time. Maybe.
Okay.
Hopefully.
This has to be one of the weirdest games I've seen in recent years. And I'm not saying that as a colloquialism. I do mean recent years. Okay, so this game is called Zombier. It comes out tomorrow, digital only. And the description for it is: drink Zombier to stay human. Resist luscious zombie cheerleaders, exotic dancers, mimes, and a very suspicious guy in a thong. That's intriguing. I don't even, like, the cover art for this game looks fucking ridiculous.
Is it some zombie naked lady in a thong type thing?
It is.
I've had the game for years on PS3.
It looks so weird.
It's awesome.
What Remains of Edith Finch is out today. I assume digital. Oh yeah, okay, digital only. It's a game about different tales. Hold on, let me just read the description. Why am I even going into this off the top of my head? What Remains of Edith Finch is a collection of strange tales about a family in Washington State. As Edith, you'll explore the colossal Finch house, searching for stories as she explores her family history and tries to figure out why she's the last one in her family left alive. Very cinematic game. Very interesting if you're into that sort of stuff.
It looks like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
I think it might be the same development studio.
I can find out in a second. What's funny is it recommends a only game. For some reason, a controller is strongly recommended to play What Remains of Edith Finch,
as opposed to
mouse and keyboard on PC.
Oh, I see.
It's a first-person exploration game. Why would I want a controller?
Huh.
Unless it's a terrible port.
Dun, dun, dun.
W doesn't make you go forward; it makes you go backwards and sideways. Not according to these reviews, by the way. I'm just saying that as a joke.
Ha! Static comes out. PlayStation VR. Oh, came out yesterday. Looks like, man. So it looks like, a first-person escape the box game. If you're into that. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 is out. Shovel Knight, The Spectre of Torment, Shovel Knight 2. That game is super critically acclaimed. I've never played it, but it looks cool. If you're into Shovel Knight, the second one is out. And like I said, the Outlast Trinity and Outlast 2. And I found this interesting. I don't know if you've heard of the Deer God.
The what?
The Deer God.
I have not.
It's another one of those pixel games that tries to be super artsy. Here. The Deer God is a breathtaking 3D pixel art adventure that will challenge your beliefs and your platforming skills. It's a game about survival, reincarnation, and karma, all set in the breathtaking and unique 3D pixelized world. And yes, you do play as a deer.
Why not?
Hey.
Does that mean the guy that killed Bambi's mom is the final boss?
That would be awesome. But it's not one of those arcadey ones. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Artsy, but more than artsy. It's one of those reflection pieces.
Well, I will bet the PC modding community will have some fun with that.
Oh, 100%. Already there. And those are the interesting games coming out on PlayStation Network this week.
I have one for PC that makes me laugh and won't make me buy VR at all. Well, two, actually. So Rick and Morty Rickatorium, or however the hell you say that, is on VR and it's on PC right now. It came out a couple days ago. And I'm not buying it because I'm not still buying VR for maybe a game or two. Oh, Dan and I might have talked about this, but you and I haven't. And the one I wanted to bring up, it came out today on PC, Batman Arkham VR. Nice try. I'm still not getting VR for Batman.
Hmm.
Especially $20 for a 1.5 hour experience.
1.5 hour?
Yeah.
Huh.
They get 100%, it's around 3 hours.
Huh. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, for a VR game,
Go ahead.
that's the kind of game that I would recommend if you have like severe motion sickness, where you can jump in, play 20 minutes, jump out, play something else or do something else, and maybe jump in a couple of hours later for another 20 minutes. That way you can really stretch the crap out of those $20.
You mean $820 if you buy, like, I don't know, the HTC Vive or Oculus Rift?
True. This is assuming that you already have a VR headset. To which I say, why do you have a VR headset if you have severe motion sickness?
Or, what's the one? Vertigo.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. That'll throw you right off your feet.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the premise looks interesting and whatnot. I just wish you could play it without the virtual reality headset. Or, get, like, the Samsung Gear VR, the $100 headset, and pair it to your PC if that was possible.
So I've tried to do that a couple different times with my own phone with free software, and it doesn't work. It stutters like crazy.
Damn. Bye-bye, Batman.
Womp womp.
Until VR is, like, really dirt cheap, or I decide to upgrade from my 1080 and they're running a promotion like they are right now for 1070s and get a VR headset for free. Or actually, you get the graphics card with the headset. I should probably word that better.
Yeah, that was slightly different.
The headset's more expensive than the graphics card.
Not surprised.
It's actually more like 2.3 to 1.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're losing their money on that one. Okay. So do you want to go to point number 2 on this one? Because you're actually there, it says on your drive dock.
Sure.
So, had a yawn for some reason. Dota 2 will require you to provide an authentic phone number if you wish to play ranked multiplayer, starting May 4th or May 5th. The cutoff is May 4th, so I don't know if it's like, bam, that day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, midway through the day, oh, hey, you guys are done. You're fucked. But they're saying the authentic phone number, and it can't be some... I guess Google provides a phone service or something, and
Yep.
Valve has confirmed it's not accepted. It has to be an authentic phone number. Like, I have T-Mobile. I don't know who you have. My brother has Verizon. Like, your actual phone number and whatnot. They say it's to combat, say, me having 5 accounts and whatnot.
Right.
The funny workaround here that I can think of is not everybody has only one number in one phone. Like, I share my phone with my youngest brother, my phone account, so I have 2 numbers. So if he was playing Dota 2, he could be like, hey, man, I know you're never going to play this game. Can I have your phone number to make another account?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I feel it's an interesting way to try and combat it, and it's a little bit better than, say, a valid email account, Because I can make an email account in about 10 minutes if I want a permanent one.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting, and going forward, I'm very curious if this is really going to catch on or if it's just going to fall straight on its face.
Now, do you mean only for Dota 2 or other games?
Well,
similar to it?
It only specifies Dota 2 right now, but it says that for CSGO, which is still done by Valve, for Steam and whatnot, that the CSGO premium servers are registered via your phone number and you get better access and whatnot, but that's not mandatory because they still have non-phone number servers. I mean, ranked play. Same thing. Right now, it only seems to be this one that I'm aware of, Dota 2. Me personally, I could give a rat's ass because I'm not big on multiplayer gaming, just like you and Dan, and maybe the random person that hits me up on Steam or PlayStation, or hey, could you help me out real quick? Yeah, sure, I don't mind, if I'm free.
Yeah.
I don't see games that you and I play requiring a phone number in the future. Like, oh, hey, this game, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, came out, blah, 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 like a decade ago. Hey, give us a phone number or you can't play. We have hundreds of hours already invested. We're probably just going to walk away.
Yeah, even then, I don't see that happening for any of the games that already exist. And I definitely see... So, back in high school, I remember there being a kid, I can't remember who it was, that was really, really dedicated, I use that term loosely, to World of Warcraft. So much so that he had several accounts for different functions. So he would make a bot of a character who would just sit there and fish constantly, so he could go to that character and trade fish when he needed. Or there was another character that he would make, and he would put him at a mine. He was just constantly mining gold or whatever it was, and he could go over to that character and trade freely. So I can see how it would be helpful, not even helpful, just a better... It allows the creators better range of control for that reason, where you can't just make bots or make multiple accounts to see which kind of what kind of gear set you get. So
sorry, guys, I thought you were done.
Yeah, so for like multiplayer games like I don't know, like Call of Duty or even Metal Gear Solid, I don't see this being an issue.
Could you imagine if one of the Call of Duty developers tried to implement this?
There would be an uproar.
Yeah, they would backpedal so hard on like day 3.
There'd be 500,000 12-year-olds saying, "I don't have a phone."
Oh my goodness! You know how all those 12-year-olds like, "I banged your mom," whatnot, and they all have to get their mom's cell phone numbers to play the servers.
Ha! That's hilarious. Because there would definitely be someone who hacks their servers to get all these phone numbers.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Damn it! If Matthew ever asks me for my phone number for Dota 2, I'm gonna say no now.
Ew.
Get a call from like some creepy thing. Hey, were you Ass Queen 95 or whatever at this place? Blah 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 blah. You bastard! You killed my blah blah blah. You're a hacking noob and cheater. And I'm like, who the fuck? I have no idea what you're talking about. Reports me because I have no idea what he's talking about.
How did you come up with that screen name is all I got from that entire rant.
I could hear your laughter really clearly.
Ask Queen 95. What the fuck? Oh, man. Excellent.
I don't know, but I knew you would enjoy it.
Oh, I definitely did. That one's coming back to bite you.
Oh, I could care less.
Just wait. Episode 16.
We're the Pink Pants Squad.
We are. Oh, man. I forgot about that. Now it's more of a reason to get the Peace Walker.
What? Who the fuck's honking on your end?
I have no idea.
Did you order Pizza Hut and forget?
I did not. I have no idea who's honking. But it's definitely not for me.
It's Ass Queen 95.
Yeah. They found me. They hacked the servers and found me.
Mid-podcast that's offline.
Dang.
With the exception of Skype.
Anyway.
Have you seen Dirty Laundry?
Oh, indeed I have. So, the what we covered last week? Yeah, I guess
yes,
last week.
The last one with you and I.
Yeah. Was that they went ahead and they made an independent short film that tied in with the Tom Jane Punisher of 2008.
2004.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Right.
So, the guys that did Dirty Laundry... Ha! That sounds hilarious when you say it out loud like that. They're the same guys that did the bootleg version of the Power Rangers reboot that was going around YouTube, I think last year or the year before. The Adi Shankar of Bootleg Universe. So, I can definitely see the same sort of style here, but this one was so well done. It could have been an after the credit scene for the Punisher movie, and it would fit in so well. That's how well done it was.
Yeah, for a 10-minute short film, its production value was very well done.
Mm-hmm. Very impressive.
Only complaint I have, and I'm starting, and as I've not I shouldn't say starting, when I was doing research on it and whatnot, and a lot of people agree, is the use of the Dark Knight music. It just doesn't fit, you know? It feels like a detractor to me. It's not like, oh my god, this destroys it. It's just a minor complaint, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed it through all 10 minutes. I mean, like, once it was over, I was, like, broken on the inside, because it's like, that is probably the absolute last time we're going to see Tom Jane as the Punisher.
It's so sad. But, yeah, you're probably right.
The fact that he got a reprisal is amazing.
Mm-hmm. I definitely noticed the fact that he's fucking big for that role. 10 minutes in.
Okay.
You're like, holy shit.
He loves that character.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell by the way he, like, gets into character. And
it's a shame there was a development hell when they were planning on doing the sequel to that 2004 film before they went off and did Warzone. But I couldn't blame Tom Jane from walking away from that one.
Oh, yeah. From Warzone?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It wasn't Warzone. It was still Punisher 2 at the time.
Yeah.
And then when he read the script that was submitted, the final one he read, he walked away. By Kurt Sutter. He didn't like it. And he walked away. But then again, he'd already spent 3 years waiting for this film to get into production and whatnot. So, I mean, I agree with him when he said he's not going to spend years of his life waiting for something he just doesn't believe in.
That's fair, yeah.
Can't blame him.
Not at all.
I enjoyed Ron Perlman's cameo. Well, I mean, I guess any real part in that's a cameo for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I guess.
But I was kind of blown away. Ron Perlman, you know, that's like big talent on a small short film, you know? I mean, I'm not saying it's unheard of, but it was impressive.
And another thing was that he didn't half-ass it. It wasn't one of those character or roles that you take just because someone asked you to and you don't really give a fuck. It was very much like he got into character and he wasn't like rushing through his lines or anything. He was really working on the moments, and like I liked it. He seemed very into it.
If anything, if you take a comparison between Ron Perlman from Punisher, Dirty Laundry, and Hellboy, he's actually doing his lines a bit slower. Mm-hmm. So instead of rushing through him, he's actually more, you know, playing into the fact that he's disabled from the legs down and he's just an alcoholic that just doesn't care anymore.
That's true. Yeah, it's apples to oranges, really, Hellboy and that character. But
well, of course,
I could definitely, it's very much like he's acting. It's not just his usual cadence.
Yeah. And I actually enjoyed the fact that it wasn't like 10 minutes of just nonstop action. Like, they actually conveyed somewhat of a story. Mm-hmm. And it was, I mean, granted, 10 minutes, you're not going to get, you know, this long, great story. But I mean, I felt for what it was, like him getting pumped might be the wrong word, but it kind of feels appropriate, into getting into wanting to intervene. You know what I'm going with?
Yeah.
That Jack Daniels bottle, holy shit. That has to be like the sturdiest bottle ever.
That Jack Daniels bottle saw more action in 10 minutes than you have in the last 5 years. BAM!
You're actually correct, and that's terrifying.
I just came up with that right now.
That was actually perfect. Marco's hitting some notes. I gotta go cry after the podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not really.
We can have like a rehab session after the podcast.
The Triggercast after show, where we cry because of the things we said that triggered each other.
Oh man, it's gonna be like when what was her name? It wasn't Queen Latifah. Oh wow, I can't remember her name. The woman from the host from Charm School.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it was a couple of years ago. But all of the girls, did you ever watch or hear about the show I Love New York?
No. To both of those.
Well, that show was based off another show called
I Love L.A.?
no, Flavor of Love. And it was Flavor Flav. It was basically like The Bachelor, except The Bachelor was Flavor Flav, and there were like, I don't know, 20 women that he went through in 2 seasons.
Wow.
So the women that scrubbed out of that show were, you know, for the most part, not upstanding, classy women that you would find at the ball. So they made like a spin-off show where they took all those women that scrubbed out of the show and put them through charm school, basically. And there was like a reunion episode after it, and it was just such a shit show. That's what it's going to be like after this podcast.
Some people would say the podcast is the shit show.
Well, not too far off.
Actually, I have to do another shout out. We got another subscriber. Well, I did.
Oh, hey!
So I'm not sure if these subscribers are coming due to the Triggercast. It can't be due to my gaming with Marco and Dan. They're just pathetic and boring, but they're great to talk to. Well, I mean, you can't blame them for not enjoying them. All I do is blow you up, and then all I do with Dan is mindlessly kill things and leave them behind, or he leaves me behind.
No, that sounds about right.
Haha, triggered Marco. But anyways, thank you to whoever is subscribing. Please keep it up if you enjoy the content. And don't forget, Marco and Dan do exist. I know they don't pump out videos consistently, but damn, they exist.
No, we don't. It's a figment of your imagination.
Holy shit.
When you put out these podcasts, yeah. When you put out these podcasts, it's just you, one side of the monologue. You're like laughing at your own jokes and shit.
Oh, I'm the master of disguise. I can do all these voices. Yes, I am the master of disguise. Are you there?
I never was. That's the thing.
You've never been there for me, God?
Ugh. This got into some interesting territory just now.
Interesting, my ass.
Isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I'm a white guy. Are white people asses great if they're dudes?
I think you're asking the wrong person. But if you have the answer to that, ladies and gentlemen that are listening to Triggercast, leave it in the comments below. We will definitely read those.
Because it's just me?
Yes. So you're talking to yourself again.
This shouldn't be called the Triggercast at this point. It should be called the Mental Cast. I need to be in a mental asylum.
This show has gone through so many names already. I don't think it needs another moniker.
One of these days, for one of the episodes, I'm just going to use all of the names we were thinking about, and just like this one long ass, you know, like the hashtag, you know, where just you never space it out, you just keep going until it's done. Yep. It's going to be so long and annoying.
Like 20 minutes of just random fucking names.
So, you know how we were talking about last week about Star Wars Battlefront and always online games, and how, you know, we've kind of spoken as an audience that we want single player, we don't want just always online multiplayer games? Well, I'm bringing this up with you because we talked about this last week, even though Dan is the person who brought me knowledge of this. Mm-hmm. Of a various website, but I went to a different website, so it's not cheating. I actually went to this website because it's on my phone. So Friday the 13th is launching at the end of May without a single player campaign. The single player campaign. See, that's the interesting thing, and I did some digging on this. Originally, they didn't hit their stretch goal in Kickstarter for a single player campaign. And the game was supposed to come out last year, but they decided to delay the game to implement the single player. But they don't want to delay it any further, so they're going to release it without the single player campaign and just release it as it was supposed to be. And then a free add-on later. I think... I can't say I think. I actually respect the fact that even though they didn't hit their stretch goal, that they're still going to go forward with the single player campaign. and that's cool and all. This might be one of those rare exceptions where it being multiplayer only won't just deter me because a single player campaign is acknowledged to be coming later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't expect me to buy it until the single player campaign is available.
Right.
Unless the game has a kick-ass multiplayer and you, Dan, and I get like excited for it like drawn to death.
Okay. That's fair. See, I've seen the gameplay for this game. It seems boring, to be honest.
Do you remember Naughty Bear?
Yeah, of course.
Do you get that vibe of Naughty Bear when you see this game in action?
Yeah, you kind of do. I didn't think of that by myself, but definitely, yeah, you do. That's funny.
So that has me worried and intrigued at the same time, because with Naughty Bear, I got bored of it, but it was also whimsical enough to keep me going for like the third mission. Then I stopped for real.
Yeah.
I'm not big on the teen slasher genre whatsoever. But like, say if I get to play as Jason, I get to go kill my friends. I might be interested. Like my friends is like you and Dan playing, you know. Hey, motherfucker, you know.
Mm-hmm. See, I would buy this game if they announce Predator as DLC.
That would be awesome. Or a
Right?
Xenomorph.
Well, I guess, yeah. But if you want to get me hook, line, and sinker, no second thought about it. Definitely put out Predator for the game, and I'll buy it.
Jack the Ripper.
Oh, that'd be cool. Playing as Raiden.
Fuck Raiden. I'd rather play a solid Snake in this game that wouldn't make no sense whatsoever than Raiden.
You said Jack the Ripper.
I do not consider Raiden's whiny little ass to be Jack the Ripper from the English era of massacring people during the, what was it, Victorian era?
Not people. Prostitutes. Very different.
Okay, the Triggercast went into a very, very sexist and dark area. That was Marco, by the way, so if you want to hate someone, hate Marco.
I'm joking, obviously. It's a Triggercast, people. Come on.
I don't know. The feminists don't seem to be able to take female humor very well unless it's them singing My Vagina repeatedly.
Interesting.
Oh,
I think we're on equal footing here.
I had to do it. I mean, I have to stand with my co-hosts. But then push them into the fire as I run away.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh,
Or just leave me in a fucking elevator shaft.
Or I could just walk. I mean, you know, I don't think running might be just too much. Now that's triggering.
Well,
But I enjoyed I'm gonna have a picture of this in the podcast as I'm talking about it right now. A commenter on the PlayStationTrophies.org article for Friday the 13th, his comment was, the new game model, pay full price now for features coming way later. And that is very true lately.
yeah.
In the past couple years of games coming out, actually not even just the past couple few, you can even take that back to like 2011 with the whole popularity of the season pass and microtransactions and just content missing or beta or just you name it.
Asura's Wrath being the most public offender of this.
Do you remember, I'm going to use her first name, but I'm not going to use her last name. So I'm not entirely at fault here. Do you remember Priscilla from high school?
Yes, I think.
Goth chick.
Yes.
And that's not an offense to the goth culture at all, by the way.
I feel like I would have been goth if I had more money when I was growing up.
You were
and
Mexican.
non-Mexican parents. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know
Moving on, anyway.
I've never met a Mexican goth. Could you please be goth just so I can say I've met a Mexican goth?
I will consider this request.
And deny it.
I don't know. We'll leave it to the people.
We the
If
people
you think
say
Marco
yes.
should go goth, for the Triggercast, put it in the comments below.
We'll
tally up the votes.
I'm gonna pull a Dan and create 10 fake YouTube accounts just to say yes, do it.
You can't
And then
do
I'm
that.
gonna inflate my own YouTube subscriber count.
Yeah, of course. So not surprised.
But anyways, getting back to Priscilla from high school, she kept trying to sell me this game, not in terms of actually physically selling it to me, but like selling it and like, oh, this game's awesome, blah 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 blah. And this was late 2011, and whatnot, and the game hadn't come out yet. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. The funny thing is, I totally forgot about the game until you brought it up last year, and I'm like, oh yeah, that game came out, and I looked it up. It was on an Xbox, outside Xbox video as like games that were released without their ending or something, and I watched that. I'm like, oh yeah, Asura's Wrath. Oh, thank God I never bought it.
Yeah, seriously. I remember playing the demo for that game a lot, but that was it.
That game had a demo?
Yeah.
For a game that didn't have an ending, they gave it a demo?
Yeah. Weird now that I think about it.
For an industry that is trying so hard to kill the demo, that's very funny. I miss demos.
Well, the Hero Quest 2 is coming out with a demo today. It was in the PlayStation Store, but it didn't mention it because it's a demo.
You mean Dragon Quest Heroes 2?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. We gotta clarify that.
So there's a demo out for that now.
You wanna know what's funny?
You interested?
You wanna know what's pretty funny? Speaking of a game doing the exact opposite, Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 shipped with only its single player campaign, multiplayer coming later.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yes. Once I read that this afternoon, I was like, well, someone's doing something right. Unless you're a Call of Duty fan and you're feeling the exact opposite.
Yeah, that's true. See, years ago, I thought that it would be a good idea to separate both into two different, like, SKUs, two different games, basically. So, like, for those that wanted to play just the Call of Duty campaign, because, like, if I was to buy, I don't know, Black Ops 2 right now, I would play through the campaign and never pick that game back up in my life. But I feel like the vast majority of Call of Duty players are in it for the online experience. I'm not. So, if we could get, like, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 campaign, and then Call of Duty Black Ops 2 online in two different discs, so both of them are $40. I feel like that would have been a good idea back in the day. Maybe not so much today.
Yes, you didn't Sony try doing that with like Uncharted 2 and 3, where after a while they just sold the multiplayer component as its own for like $20?
I had no idea, actually.
Yeah, I remember seeing that for 2 or 3 or even both. And I can't think of other games, but I know a few other companies have done that where they just sell the multiplayer component. I think a few Call of Duties have done that on Steam as well.
Yeah, I guess it is different for consoles. I would really like to see sales figures for those types of games.
I would say contact Sony, but they probably won't release them.
Yeah, they're going to be like, who the fuck are you, kid? Go home.
I just run a podcast, asshole.
Yeah.
And I don't even run it. I just talk and walk away.
Yeah, pretty much.
But speaking of Call of Duty, isn't there a new announcement?
There is a new announcement. How did you know?
I'm cheating by looking at a Google Drive doc right now.
Damn it! So yes, because we're all gamers here, right? Most of us. You listening over there? No, not you. The guy behind you. Yeah, that guy. He looks like a gamer, definitely.
The pedophile.
I wasn't going in that direction. That was weird.
Well, you said guy behind a guy.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Fine. Anyway, Call of Duty World War II is going to be revealed worldwide tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. And you can see that at callofduty.com. That's CALLOFDUTY.com. There's absolutely no additional details besides cover art for that, and that's very intriguing. But, might I say, and I'm just thinking of this now, this is basically the beginning of the hype train.
And the demo video for Borderlands 3 wasn't hype train, but this is just a photo of a guy's face.
Okay, that's fair.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, you got me.
But in serious areas, please, I hope to God that is not the final title for the game. Call of Duty World War II is a horrendous title.
Yeah, it's not very respectful, I don't think.
Battlefield 1 was awesome, to be honest.
I can't say that Battlefield 1 was a good name. That sounds like a working title that they put out a trailer for, and they were like, oh, fuck. Well, we gotta go with it now.
Well, I say it's awesome in the fact that, you know, it was unique at the time. Like, it was like, what? This isn't your first game, you know? It was a nice play on World War One, you know? If they would have called it Battlefield the Great War, that would have been, like, really better. Ooh. Because World War One is the Great War.
See, you already put more thought into it than they did. So, just think about that for a second.
I don't work for EA, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And thank God for that. I'd be laid off like 10 times by now.
Probably. So why don't we complete a game before selling it? Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out!
Well, the game did bad. Can you come back for the next one? Sure. Get the fuck out. So, is it time for the long-winded menace section?
I think it should be, yeah.
Because I believe we're about 15 minutes overdue for that one.
Yeah, we tried.
Did we?
Well, no, yeah, we had a good flow going. It was difficult to cut off, I feel.
You're right. This is flowed very very nice. Very nice. So Dan and I have talked Star Wars on multiple podcasts. People are probably tired of Dan and I talking Star Wars. Get over it. We're still going to talk Star Wars. But you and I haven't really talked Star Wars with the exception of Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the last podcast.
True.
How do you... I just had my question and I lost it. Now, you're aware of... It's not officially called Scargate. I'm just going to call it Scargate just because it's kind of fun. Because, you know, Scargate, you know, it's kind of close.
Got it.
Have fun with it. So you have to have been aware by now. I think everybody, even living under a rock in Uganda, is aware that Rian Johnson moved the scar on Kylo Ren's face because he can.
What?
I love how you're trying to act and whatnot, but it's not really working.
No, I actually had no idea. I hadn't heard about this, so the under the rock in Uganda thing kind of applies to me. I had no idea. Canada. Well, I guess you got to look in the igloos.
Cold Uganda. Sniper Elite 6 taking place in cold Uganda.
You mean Canada? Yeah, it's the same thing. Don't worry about it. It's a good game. Get it.
Anywho, please continue.
This is actually the first I've heard of it because I've been trying to avoid spoilers and trailers and shit.
Well, you got one.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Because sorry,
that's concerning.
Isn't it? I mean, it's a very trivial thing on the surface, but if you really think about it, it's setting up a precedent of comic book era proportions of, well, I didn't like what my predecessor did, so I'm going to change what my predecessor did, you know, so on and so forth. And Dan has a... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Dan has a joke about Colin Trevorrow with episode 9 changing something he doesn't like about Garrett. Rian Johnson in episode 8 is... Dan said they're going to change Ray, R-E-Y, to a man called Ray, R-A-Y. And then I made a joke, well, it's going to be Everybody Loves Raymond, right? You know?
Nice. It's the same thing.
So what I'm going to do is when episode 9 comes out on Blu-ray, or whatever the next level Blu-ray is at that point in 2019, 2020, and I'm going to Photoshop Ray Romano in every scene Ray's in and just try and find dialogue from Ray Romano that fits somewhat.
Sounds like quite the undertaking.
It should be fun. What are you talking about?
That's true. No, the final product is going to be awesome, but man, for the entire year that you're going to be working on that, ugh.
That's gonna be half-assed. It ain't gonna be no year. It's gonna be about 5 weeks.
Oh well,
It's gonna be horrible editing.
Even then, I'm surprised you're like willing to put 5 weeks into this thing. So, way more dedication than I would put into it.
Well, please go on. How do you feel about Scargate?
It's interesting in the fact that like there's no rhyme or reason for it outside of the fact that he just felt like it. So it would be awesome to get Adam Driver's take on it. Like, what do you think he was doing there? But it feels like it signifies a power trip to me. Where he's messing with an IP that's been around since the 80s, 70s even.
70s.
Yeah, 70s. Yeah, that's what I said. And there's no integrity to the source material, right?
George Lucas has done this so often. Rian Johnson's going to be the next George Lucas. The memes are going to come out the gate.
That's fair, but George Lucas came up with this world on his own. It's like, it's his baby. If he wants to change it a little bit, then yeah, sure, he's eccentric and weird and it doesn't jive well with the fans, but if he wants to change something, it is within his power to change his own IP. For someone to come in and for absolutely no reason to change something that trivial, it feels like he's sending a message. And that message is, I don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, see, that was the funny thing, because people on Twitter were like, what the hell, you know? And he was like, well, I changed it because the Scar looked goofy, and, well, I can, you know, as the director. And I'm like, awesome. Not. But, I mean, because he was saying, because the Scar goes, you remember how Rey slashes Kylo at the end of The Force Awakens? From a downward slash up his, if you're facing him, it would be his right, but it's, you know, I'm doing it up my right face. But if you look at the person directly, it's their left, but it's really the right side of their face, I guess is the right way of saying that.
Yeah, I get it.
Anyways, the slash was upwards, and instead of hitting his eye, it hit the middle of his nose, and Rian Johnson moved it more to middle of the right of his eye, and I'm like, that slash makes no sense now, because that would mean he would lose that eyeball.
That's true.
And it's another "Arr, pirate Scar." How stereotypical is that?
No, man. See, that Scar was awesome for so many years. But it's like Nicolas Cage. You see it everywhere, and you're just fucking tired of it. Now, Andromeda took a slightly different approach to this one, where you can customize your character so it has a scar basically on the outside tip of your eye.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, okay, it's similar, but different enough for me to not be annoyed by it. A scar right down the middle of your eye. God of War did it the best. We should just leave it now. Like, let's come up with something more. I'm inclined to put in for eye patches. Bring back the eye patches.
Ooh, the one from Metal Gear Solid 4 that functions as binoculars, thermal, and stuff like that would be awesome.
There you go.
But the funny thing is, you remember how Kylo wanted to be like his grandfather so much in Force Awakens? By moving the scar closer to what Anakin's scar was in Episode 3, he's becoming closer like his grandfather. In a bad way.
And he didn't even do it on his own.
No. Someone did it because they could.
Dang. See, that it really does suck that they're just changing it just because they want to.
And I get it's a trivial thing, but like I said, when do we get so used to the trivial things where it's no longer trivial, you know?
Yeah, I feel like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, that would have flown no problem. Because like 10 years ago, you could change like the person who the actor who played Albus Dumbledore without a very good explanation. That like, it's okay.
The actor died.
Through it. Yeah, well, there's that. But like, we're in an age where you put out a trailer and 5 hours later there's going to be a full breakdown of the entire trailer, like scene by scene, by at least 10 different YouTube channels.
Oh yeah, and it's Star Wars, it's going to be a lot more like 1,000 YouTube channels.
Exactly. So like we're really really paying attention to the small details, and like it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Good thing, a lot of people that are involved with the fine details that before didn't get a whole lot of recognition are getting the recognition that they deserve. But it's also where if you choose to change something, you better have a good explanation because everybody notices.
Now, in terms of explanation, I just thought up of one on the fly as you were saying this. What if he went the route and instead of going, I'm the director, I do what I want, bitch, like Cartman, I do what I want. What if he actually explained it became too much of a hassle to apply the makeup and prosthetic on Adam Driver's face and he was having an allergic reaction to it? So we moved it to make it more simplistic for him. And
That would have made sense.
Yeah, if it was more diplomatic and handled better, I think the community would have been more accepting of a slight change like this.
For sure. I feel like that's definitely... It's like the same way they added the scene with Luke Skywalker in the what do you call it? The Wampa at the beginning of the other movie. Because of his car crash that left the facial scars, right? It's the same idea. But see, like they're going out of their way to make it relevant to the entire story, because they would actually pay attention to those details. See, Star Wars is one of those things that people are just looking at everything, because there's conspiracy theorists, there's people that made being a Jedi into an actual religion, there's people that want to get the costumes right for their own cosplays. So every detail that you put into Star Wars has to be very, very well thought out. And if any of those details are off, of course you're going to get called out on it. If you're not PC with it and you're not looking to make friends with that fan base, then of course you're going to have an uproar like this.
You're right. And what's funny is there's also a huge following of people that practice the forms, the lightsaber forms, down to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some of them. They're pretty interesting, but it's not my cup of tea.
I've seen a lot of them, actually, and my favorite one is Juyo.
Which type is that one?
It's, so remember the Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
Remember General Ram Koda?
Oh, that's his form. Okay.
Yeah, that's his. The one where he keeps his lightsaber on his right shoulder, so he
Right.
can, like, draw and slash at the same time.
Well, see, I know they're categories and types 1 through 7. That's why I'm asking there. What is that naming categories in what form?
Oh, I didn't realize they were numbered. I know Juyo, she was more like a heavier combat.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Mace Windu is type 7.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. I had no idea that they were numbered like this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels fights with type 3.
So this one's type 7.
Ooh. It's a dark side almost area.
It's true, yeah.
It's considered a very powerful stance.
Yes. Let's see. No. Oh, wow. This is amazing.
We're getting really nerdy here, motherfuckers.
Yeah, welcome to the Triggercast, where every once in a while we will learn new things off of each other. But one thing will remain constant. You will be triggered.
Of course. Because the people that know this, and you didn't know, they're like, he's hosting a podcast and didn't know this?
That's right. Going into this cold. So apparently, yeah, it's Mace Windu that uses it. Darth Maul uses it.
Which would make sense.
Yeah. Ram Koda.
Did you know in the expanded universe, Anakin Skywalker sought to learn it, but Mace Windu wouldn't teach it to him due to his arrogance?
Huh.
And he felt it would get him to be even closer to the dark side?
No, I had no idea.
Yep. A limited number of Jedis knew the stance and form due to how emotional it is, and it's a very aggressive stance.
Mm-hmm.
A very limited number of Jedi knew it. Whereas Obi-Wan preferred a more acrobatic stance early on until he spent his exile years on Tatooine and had to learn a slower, more powerful stance due to the twin sons rapidly aging him and deteriorating his body.
Holy crap. There's just so much information there.
I've been doing research.
I can tell. It shows. Good job. I commend you.
There's a good channel. I'll give it a shout out. I'm trying to get to YouTube real fast. I'll shout it out if I see it very early on. It's the Stupendous Wave. The space Stupendous space wave. I'll link one of the videos into the description so you guys can check this guy out. That's where I've been getting a lot of my Star Wars knowledge. Besides what I haven't been reading.
I am impressed.
So it's a good thing you brought up episode 5 with Luke and the Wampa, because I'm very curious on your viewpoint of this. Is an interview with Adam Driver, I believe it was earlier in the year or late last year, said the Last Jedi, at the time we didn't know it was the Last Jedi. He said that the Last Jedi that we know is the Last Jedi now is going to be more like episode 5. And I and a lot of people had a collective no on the internet, because The Force Awakens was like A New Hope, just with a different cast in some places, and even the old cast fulfilling different roles from 4, like Han became old Ben,
Yeah.
killed by Ben.
Oh.
Ben aside.
Benception.
Ooh, that's a good one. We need to make an exhibit meme out of this. Yo, dog, I heard you like Ben, so I sent Ben to go kill Ben.
Oh, jeez.
But anyways, so I'm curious on how you feel about that, because myself and Dan, we talked about this in the last one Dan and I recorded, number 7, is we're not too fond of that. We would like it to be its own story, I get we're in this era of familiarity. We like to look to the past and whatnot, but the Star Wars, the galaxy is a massive place, and there are so many things you can do with it. Why not try something different,
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the Rey and Luke scenes are gonna be Yoda and Luke all over again. I get that, but I mean, the movie doesn't really need to be the Resistance Slaughterfest, like how it was Rebels Slaughterfest and Empire.
Mm-hmm.
But please, I have held the reins too long. Please, how do you feel?
So my thing is, and this goes back to what we've spoken about before, that The Force Awakens didn't resonate as well as it did with the audience. I mean, as well as Episode 4 did when it originally came out. Obviously, it's an old IP, and we have seen several different iterations of it. But because it was being renewed, in a sense, it should have had like this awesome reception, right? Where all the fans come back and they're amazed with what's going on. But the fact that they recycled the plot to one of the movies that we've already seen in the same universe, it, like I said before, you have to expect a lukewarm reaction to it, where it's not awesome because it's not new, and it's not completely shit because there are new characters and they are introducing new concepts. So it falls definitely right in the middle, where you don't know how excited you should be for the rest of the trilogy, right? The new trilogy.
Yes.
So, for someone to say that this next episode is going to be like Episode 5, the same way that Episode 7 was like Episode 4, it doesn't give you a whole lot of hope, right?
Right.
So, if you're looking to get excited for the grand finale or the third movie in the trilogy, it doesn't give you anything to look forward to. You're like, okay, I've seen that movie. Cool, I'm going to see different actors in the same roles that I've seen before, but there's no real reason for me to like get hyped about it or like want to be inspired by these characters the same way I was back in the original trilogy. So when you're saying we're copying the formula that we followed in the 70s, people, they're not going to care. I mean, sure, they'll care in terms of like it'll be an outrage and like, why are you doing this? But it's not amazing and it's not enticing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my rant about it.
You perfectly summed up how a lot of people feel about that. We want to have hope, but we're just not being, like, the hope's being siphoned away.
Yeah, little by little.
Now,
and who knows? It could have been a ploy for Adam Driver to see the comments and be like, "Oh man, it would really suck if Episode 8 was exactly like Episode 5. I'm going to be a troll and say that." And then Episode 5 comes out and it's completely different, new story, new concepts, and we're sitting there going like, "What the fuck? This is nothing like what I expected. This is awesome."
You mean Episode 8?
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said 5.
No, I said 8.
Plus 3 is 8.
Yeah.
But no, if it's Adam Driver being a royal troll, that's great and all, but it's kind of the wrong franchise to do that. There's a lot on the line in terms of a lot of things like financial and whatnot. Like, remember, Disney spent $4 billion to acquire Force Awakens, which might explain why The Force Awakens played it really safe.
That's
Too
true.
safe. But I felt when Force Awakens came out, it was 10 years later, people were still clamoring for 7, 8, 9. You could have sold us 2 Girls, 1 Cup, and it would have made $1 billion.
That's true.
I had to go there.
Yeah, well, you have to every once in a while, I guess.
Because I saw Rogue One on Sunday. Because I bought it. Did you see Rogue One?
What did you think? Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Okay. I felt it's a very middle-of-the-road Star Wars film, you know? In terms of the original trilogy, 6 is the lowest point for me. And in terms of the prequels, 3 is the highest point. I'm not including 7 right now. So if I was to put Rogue One in that scale, it's in the middle. So it's in between 3 and 6 to me.
Okay.
It was neither good nor bad. I very much enjoyed it. It was a very beautiful film, very stunning cinematography. The special effects and CG blended very well into the scenery. It didn't feel overly fake in some areas, where except you knew it was fake, like ships and whatnot.
Right.
I thought it was very well done in that aspect. All of the characters' death scenes, and thank God for how it should have ended, perfectly sum up how I felt with their death scenes and how they just didn't work.
Okay.
Bodhi in the shuttle could have thrown the grenade out. He had enough time. Chitmu.
Well, we're going into spoiler territory, by the way, for those of you that haven't seen Rogue One.
I'm pretty sure I'm like one of the last people who haven't seen it.
No, see, you assume that, but it just came out on DVD not too long ago.
But it came out in December in theaters.
Yeah. Not everybody goes to theaters, man.
Okay, fine.
I'm just saying. We're going into spoiler territory for those of you that haven't seen Rogue One.
We're going to spoiler territory after the spoiler. Okay, you got one spoiler, but if you continue, there'll be more spoilers, or shall we not spoil?
Oh, well, the spoiler warning is there.
The spoiler warning's there. We'll tell you when the spoiler warning's off. Or
Yeah,
will
okay.
we? But, okay, I'm gonna have a hard time with the character names, because I honestly, they tell you their names so often, they just don't resonate with me to the point where I don't remember the characters' names, with the exception of Cassian and Jyn and Krennic and obviously Vader, Tarkin, and Leia. You know?
You already
Mon Mothma.
named more characters than I remember.
Anywho, you remember the blind guy?
Yeah.
Um,
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen is awesome, and I enjoyed him. He was my favorite character. Cassie and I very much so enjoyed it. He kind of came off more Hanish to me, but I have a problem with him, and I'll come back. Donnie Yen, the blind guy's death, it bothered me because Why? He see. My thing is with that character is, I believe he could use the Force. You know, too many things happened to where they're just implausible for a blind guy. You know,
Yeah.
and it's also happened with another blind character, actually two. Because remember, in Star Wars The Force Awakens... Force Awakens. Star Wars The Force Unleashed, sorry.
Yep. General Ramcoda goes blind halfway through the game.
Yes, and he could use the Force to see where he's going.
Right.
Once he reconnects with the Force. Because you remember in the bar scene, he's drunk and just has given up on things. Yeah. But once he gets back into it, he can use the Force to see. Okay, this is going to be a massive spoiler, but... It's going to spoil it for you, though. But there's a character in Rebels that gets blinded. Same thing. So, my thing is here, he could use the Force. And I totally agree with how it should have ended is... You remember how Jin was holding a Kyber crystal the whole time?
Yeah.
And how it should have ended... he turns his staff into a lightsaber, and his friend is like, "Whoa, where'd you get that?" And he's like, "Jin let me her Kyber crystal. I'm a Jedi now." And so he starts deflecting all the blaster bolts, kills all the dark troopers, and he goes, "The Force!" And he uses the Force to flip up the master switch. You know, that's where his death scene just doesn't work for me. You know, his mercenary friend, I could understand that if we continue with the blind guy still dying. Is he had really nothing to live for at this point, you know? His friend just died, you know? He's making a last stand, and he's overwhelmed anyways. He has no position to hide, you know? The Dark Troopers could easily flank him. So his death, I'll take that back. It works. Because he just made a last stand.
Mm-hmm.
That one works. K2 SOs makes sense until you realize he was integrating with another model and could have easily transferred his memories.
Maybe that's what he did. We don't know.
We don't know for sure, but well, actually, it wouldn't matter at this point. You know, Tarkin vaporizing that facility.
It's true.
You know, and Jin and Cassian's is the one that bugs me the most because they have plenty of time. They're at a hangar. You know, you can't tell me the rebels blew up every ship or TIE fighter or anything. They could have found something and flown off the planet.
See,
but they went to the beach to hang out and, you know, die.
It's true, but you also gotta consider that, like every good episode of Metalocalypse, you've got to kill everyone to keep the continuity.
I've never seen that show, but I know of it.
God, okay, I'm leaving. Fuck it. No, if you've never seen that show, I'm leaving. This is like Doom for me.
Doom? You didn't play Doom until a year later.
I know, but you told me we're not friends unless you play Doom.
Oh.
So I bought Doom.
Yeah, but how long is Metalocalypse?
I don't know, like 15 minutes per episode.
How many episodes?
About 10 to 12, depending on the season.
How many seasons?
4.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Well, I was gonna say if it's like a 200 episode series, wait, that exchange rate from Doom to Metalocalypse, you still owe me on that, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
Because Doom's not that long.
No, I'm joking. Metalocalypse is one of those shows that I love and not a whole lot of people do. It's a very specific kind of comedy that doesn't resonate with most people. I find it hilarious.
You and Dan would have a fun conversation with this.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we're still waiting for that episode to happen. It will. Someday.
When we're all
Stay
dying.
tuned, Triggercast listeners.
We'll all be on our deathbed at the same time. We can finally do an episode. And then one of us dies like 5 minutes in.
And then we all die by the end of the episode and no one actually publishes it. It's like the lost episode of the Triggercast.
Except Tarkin blows up the facility where we're at, so nobody will ever hear it.
Dang.
That bastard. But continue with your... Well, that was the point you were making. Okay, with Metalocalypse and Jin and Cassian, right? Okay.
Because if you didn't kill everybody on that beach, you'd have to explain like where they went afterwards.
See, that's the beauty of the expanded universe. I mean, they don't all have to be tied into 4, 5, and 6. Like, You could say they were out doing other things during the events of 4, 5, and 6. The galaxy's massive. Or it should be. Star Wars seems to make it seem like I can go from Tatooine to Coruscant in, what, a minute?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the Outer Rim, assholes.
It's true.
So, I mean... but the funny thing is, I will, not to sound like a hypocrite, because I will own up to this, when Rogue One was initially announced, I figured every character was going to be killed off for that reason, because we don't hear from them at all in 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
But as I grew to love Rebels more and more, even though that doesn't take place during 4, 5, and 6, it takes place 4 years before 4, I was enjoying the fact that, you know, these characters could still exist in the expanded universe, but, you know, they're all dead.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense to me. If I was writing a story, that's how I would do it.
Yeah. I will...
I have no idea how these characters are going to blend in with the original story. Fuck it, let's just kill them all.
True,
okay.
And that is one aspect, and that is the aspect they went with, and I'll take it, but I felt their death scenes just had problems in terms of just varying things.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will not take back, and I already have someone that agrees with me on this. Okay, so you remember how Cassian's introduced as this badass that just kills everybody and anybody for, like, no reason?
Yeah.
How is it he can't kill Galen? Like, he just pauses. He's all like, I guess I won't kill Galen, even though this badass that just kills everybody for no reason. But I'm told to kill this guy and I can't do it.
Yeah, it's one of those... I feel like Rogue One is one of those movies that would benefit very much from a director's cut, where you can actually like see the characters struggle through their plot threads a little more.
Yeah.
So, I think it might be a scene where we understand why he couldn't shoot him is on the cutting room floor somewhere.
And I'd like to think that too, because, you know, they go from... What is it? It's...
Hairball.
No, they go to Eadu, but what's the planet they came from?
Jeddah.
Jeddah, okay. Yeah, that should have been easy to remember, but I didn't. They go from Jeddah to Eadu. You would think there could have been a scene where Jin and Cassian talk, and Cassian starts having doubts about this.
Yeah.
But there wasn't, you know. He just lands on Eadu. Well, they crash land, and he's all pissed off, and he takes Bodhi. And they go up, and that's when Jin starts piecing things together, and especially when K2SO says, oh, his weapon's in the sniper configuration. Oh, snap. Mm-hmm. He's going to kill Galen, you know. But then he doesn't, you know. A better explanation would have been more preferable.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's on the cutting room floor somewhere.
It probably is, because half that movie was reshot.
Yeah, precisely my point. It's like the original cut, I'm sure makes a lot more sense.
Maybe. Maybe it makes worse sense, who knows?
Oh, and like what we saw in theaters was them damage controlling it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the last 6 months before it released was damage control once it became known, you know. Hey, we have a new composer. Hey, the director's not coming back for reshoots. Michael Giacchino only has 4.5 weeks to compose before the movie comes out, and Gareth Edwards isn't directing the reshoots. You tell me how. You tell me how that translates to a finished film.
Oh man!
I will admit, Darth Vader was perfectly used in that film. There wasn't too much and there wasn't too little.
Yeah, okay, I can agree with that.
Because like I agree with what they were trying to do with limiting the amount of Darth Vader because he would steal the show. Mm. And I liked that he only has 3 appearances, even though one is still in the same scene but it's cut up, you know, where he takes his Star Destroyer and disables the rebel ship, then says prepare a boarding party, but then it cuts for a while, but not really a while. We did talk about this in Sniper Elite 3, and it is still in that video because I didn't want to cut it because we were playing, you know, the game, about how we feel about the voice.
Yeah.
It's definitely obvious this is 80-year-old plus James Earl Jones. I mean, at this point, I love the guy, but at this point, hiring a speech impersonator would have been much better for consistency's sake.
Yeah, a voice match, like, it's not like we haven't heard Darth Vader be voiced by someone else. Like, the guy who does the Chad Vader videos on YouTube was actually called in for The Force Unleashed and a couple of other... I think he also did his voice in a couple of the shows. So, like, Rebels and the one before it that I can't remember.
No, actually, James Earl Jones is in Rebels.
He is?
Yes.
Okay, so then it was the one before.
Clone Wars.
There you go.
But he wasn't Vader in Clone Wars unless it was like some very weird... Oh, no, yeah, they did show a little bit of Anakin's future in the show. I will correct myself, sorry. There's like over 100 episodes I gotta remember on the fly.
So, yeah, so what I'm saying is that we've heard Darth Vader be voiced by other people. It wouldn't have been that far off to just have someone else step in for James Earl Jones. And no disrespect to James Earl Jones. I love the character that he created, and his voice is still fucking fantastic. If I still have a voice when I'm his age, I'll be very impressed. So for him to keep it even this good is amazing.
And you're absolutely right. But I'm just going based on consistency's sake.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I would totally be down for the guy who voiced Vader in The Force Unleashed. That was a stellar impersonation. I I felt a little odd with the whole Tarkin and Leia, because they're both dead when I watched the film, of course. Peter Cushing being dead since '94 and Carrie Fisher since December 2016, before the film came out, right?
Right.
Maybe right around there. So I obviously saw it after her death, and I'm seeing these scenes, and Dan and I brought it up in the previous podcast. I don't think you and I have talked about it yet, about Ridley Scott being for de-aging Sigourney Weaver to play Amanda Ripley again. I mean, sorry, Ellen Ripley again. Sorry, it's Ellen Ripley.
Right.
And we talked about how this might gain traction and whatnot. I just found myself being a little... It works in Rogue One because Tarkin is such a key player in 4. You have to explain how he gets control of the Death Star, and if you do it without Tarkin being there, it's like, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And then, of course, Leia has to be on the shuttle leading into 4. I mean, it has to, That's where it works. I
feel like... So, I agree with you on the Tarkin point. He has to be there, and I was one of the few idiots that had no idea that it was a recreation until after, like, as soon as the credits dropped, my girlfriend's like, "What did you think about Tarkin?" I'm like, "It was great." She's like, "But he's fake." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. The dude's been dead for a while." But I didn't notice at the time. I was so immersed and like into the movie that it just kind of fit. I'm sure if I watch it again, I'd be watching for it and I'd notice. But at the time, I had no idea he was fake.
It's actually
completely eluded me.
It's a very stellar CG job.
It was very impressive.
The actor does the physical mannerisms and the voice mannerisms spot on.
Yeah, and that's it's not people like voice matching the original actor. That's the actor under the CG doing his best impersonation of Peter Cushing.
It's very well done. I wonder if he's also the guy who voices Tarkin in Rebels. I'm going to look that up on IMDb real quick, because the voice actor for Tarkin in Rebels also did Old Ben, and so good.
Huh. Interesting.
But
so while you look that up,
go ahead.
Moving on, I disagree with you on the point of Princess Leia.
Go ahead.
Because I don't think she needed to be in that movie at all. Like face wise, so we didn't need to see her face. We all know who Leia is. We all know what she looked like at that time. I don't think they needed to go as far as actually showing her act. Because that one, it did look a little more realistic, obviously. But I disagree with you with her having to be in the actual movie. I think, like, if you showed her from the back, like, same exact scene, showed her from the back, turned slightly to have her deliver the line of hope. That's all you needed. You didn't like a close model would have been okay for that. You know?
I actually do agree with you. I should have clarified more. I'll own up on my mistake and whatnot. Having her there was critical, but I mean, I agree with not seeing her face. I was, like I said earlier when we were getting this going, I was unnerved. Not unnerved. I was just off by it.
Yeah, it does look a little off because you don't expect it. Like, you know what Leia looks like. You don't expect her to turn towards the camera and look. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. That's how I felt. But I will own up on not clarifying that.
That's fair.
It is Guy Henry as Governor Tarkin in Rogue One, but it's I just had it too. Come on, go back. It's Steven Stanton for Rebels. So 2 different actors have played Tarkin in the same year and have done a stellar job, both guys. One physically and vocally, and just the other vocally. Because obviously Rebels is an animated show.
Impressive work by both of them, though.
Yes.
Shout out. Kudos.
I accidentally closed the drive dock. Because I'm not sure what else I had prepared for this. I actually didn't. Okay. Anything else?
I see you pop in and out.
I do it to go to, say, IMDb or Wikipedia because I'm doing it on my phone because it's easier for me. Because it's not as far away as my TV because I don't have a desk due to my bad setup, but I'm making the best of what I can.
So listeners of the Triggercast, if you have a desk that you can donate to...
My room won't support it.
One of the Triggermen.
No, I mean, I would do it if I could. It's just my room is... I opted for a very comfy bed over room.
And who can blame you for that decision?
Well, I'm doing the Triggercast in bed, so I can't complain.
Oh, that's awesome. Doing it from the couch. So far away from my mic. Anyway.
Did you have anything else on Star Wars?
Star Wars is one of those things that if you keep me talking about it, I could talk about it for like an entire day and argue and debate.
Ooh, okay. We will save this for later then. Because unfortunately, audience, we are about 1 hour 40 in, so we've got to move along.
Indeed. That was actually the most long-winded point on the sheet.
It
so
was.
Far.
It beats Metal Gear Solid by 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's the 40th anniversary this year. Here you go.
Hey, that works. We're pretty good at that.
Woo!
Anyway.
Okay, we've already done 5, so you didn't highlight that one, so you can go ahead. Do you wish to do Drawn to Death?
Yeah, it's actually a really quick point, to be honest. So, we mentioned the Drawn to Death patch in episode 5?
One of the episodes.
6?
Well, actually,
I don't know, one of the episodes.
We've been consistently since it came out talking about it.
That's true, actually. So, I swear to God, the hype, our extreme excitement for this game will die down eventually. We'll stop fucking talking about it until the new characters release, which I'm sure will make me more excited, and I'll bring it up again. I'm sorry. Anyway, I checked the patch notes for both 2.05 and 2.06. And it looks like a lot of rebalancing, to be honest. The only new stuff was the Easter items. There's a couple of character videos, and they announced that the Vertigo map, will go live next week.
Ooh.
So, so new map to look forward to next week if you guys are still playing Drawn to Death.
We sure are.
I know I am.
Oh yeah.
A few different changes. They called it, they were tuning. So Cyborgula gets the dash is attached to the R2 button when you tap. The golden gun doesn't show up in 2 versus 1 the 2 versus 1 matches, and the base damage is slightly decreased. There's a couple of other things like the ice can and the JRPG homing gun. They've been changed a little bit. A lot of these are actually either increased or slightly nerfed. And then there were a couple of different bugs that they fixed, one of which was the level 15 trophy award. So that's a good thing.
Why's that?
In case you I don't know, some people trophy hunt.
Well, no. What was the problem originally? I don't follow.
Oh, you had to exit and enter again. I didn't have that issue, but some people did.
Oh, it wasn't... Okay, I get where you're going. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a bug.
Okay, got it. Because I haven't gotten to level 15 yet. That's why I was confused.
Look at you.
Well, I haven't been playing as much, no.
Fair.
Some of us have podcasts to edit.
Right?
Right?
Anyway.
Go ahead.
So, in broad strokes, it's a lot of rebalancing, so it's tiny little tweaks that'll make the gameplay more satisfying in the end.
Going between 2.05 and 2.06 real quick, I did notice, Dan and I did talk about this in the previous one with Dan and I, but for listeners that only prefer Marco, because I have to assume one may prefer just Marco, one may prefer just Dan, and you're screwed because I'm in all of them if you don't like me.
Well, you know what? Screw you. Dan and I are going to begin one, and we're going to have hookers and blackjack and shit.
If you guys could schedule together, we would have done three-way at this point.
That's true.
But anywho, the RPG, the base one, got a massive nerf. Like, I haven't gotten a chance to upload the videos. I'm hoping to do it this weekend, but Dan and I have a set of videos from 2.05 and 2.06. And only in one video will I have the RPG because I got tired of a camper with a sniper rifle, so I decided to spam the rocket launcher. And yeah, that's my way of dealing with the campers. And the splash damage was insane. Like, I wasn't connecting at all, but I was still getting ridiculous amounts of ponage in terms of splash damage. And when the match was over, my damage meter was at 10,000. I was like, how?
Nice.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then go to 2.06, and they really nerfed the splash damage to where you have to connect. And I was like, fuck, I'm screwed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was my hardest time playing on 2.06, was connecting hits. However, I did notice, though, that Ninja's shark throwing still does, like, an insane amount of damage if you can connect even just one.
Shh. Keep your voice down.
Nobody watches this podcast.
Oh.
Actually, that's not true. Number 2 still is our highest viewed podcast.
Oh, impressive.
Yeah. So
I'm glad. So, thank you, listeners and watchers, and everybody in between.
Are there any commenters on our ask.fm?
No, unfortunately, it's fallen to the wayside. Nobody wants to ask us questions on Ask FM.
I think they just ask us on YouTube.
Probably, yeah.
My person who has subscribed to me and I've subscribed to, he was going by Unamused for a while. Now he's Crocodoc. I gotta make sure I'm saying this right.
Yeah, no, I saw that one too.
Yeah.
I thanked him.
He was pretty cool about it. Yes, Crocodoc. He's doing your place for pro Overwatch gameplay and tips and tricks. So shout out to him. I'll link him.
Woo!
I'll link one of his videos into the description. But yeah, he's been subscribed to me for a while, and I subscribed to him because he was commenting on my videos quite regularly, and I was like, who is this guy? And he had no videos at the time and no subscribers. And I was like, dude, you've been following my profile for a while, commenting a lot. I'm gonna follow you back, man. You know, even though he didn't have any videos, I was like, hey, you know. Then he started pumping out videos. I'm like, whoa, okay, cool.
Shout out to Crocodoc.
Yes.
Man, you know, the Triggercast is like a gateway drug. Start listening to the Triggercast, all of a sudden you're clicking on these links and shit, and next thing you know, you're a full-on gamer.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say gay or porn.
Okay.
We'll have a link for that in the description.
No. No. We're not doing that.
Titled Marco's little corner section, and it's just that.
The elevator with Marco.
Okay. So before wrapping up, because I don't want to get in an elevator with Marco now, do you want to do point number 4 or 10?
Huh. Let's see. Huh. I like point number 4.
Alrighty.
I'm a sucker for this sort of stuff.
Oh, you're fine. Okay. So there was an article from PSU.com, which is a very funny abbreviation for, once my phone loads the site, PlayStation Universe. PSU. Come on, P. It almost sounds like you're saying PU, you know? You stinky.
You could definitely, because PlayStation is technically one word, right?
Yeah.
So you could definitely nerf it down to PU.
But they did an article that caught my eye. Is Bluepoint Games remaking a PlayStation classic? And that's the title of the article. And if you're not familiar with Bluepoint, they did the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, to just name one game. I believe they also did the God of War collection, if I'm not mistaken.
They also did Gravity Rush Remastered.
Yes!
Ported it from PS Vita to PlayStation 4.
And that one was a good port. So they do good job. Good jobs. Good job.
They do good stuff over there.
Yeah. And they had a listing they posted about they're teasing about remaking a classic game to please the masses. And there's speculation on what it could be. And I'm hoping, this is me personally, because I love Infamous 1 and 2, and we didn't see a remaster for Infamous Second Son in 2014, you know? I would love to see Infamous 1 and 2, because what they tried to do with Infamous 2 at the time, and the PS3 did what it could, but I would love to see Infamous 2 fully realized on a platform that could fully realize it.
That would be impressive.
You know, because the draw distance is my major gripe in Infamous 2, but considering what they did with Numerai, it was still pretty impressive on PS3. The fact that it could do what it could do.
Yeah.
And I would
definitely
love to get some anti-aliasing in that picture and clean it up.
That'd be good. I feel like anti-aliasing is one of those things that any game could benefit from.
Of course. Don't you want your lines liner and not squiggly?
Yeah, no jaggies. Hashtag no jaggies.
Oh my goodness, this is going to make a Jaggy Lives Matter problem now.
There's just so much that we can't say.
Nope, but we can have fun with it. But
Yeah.
I would, or even Demon Souls would be a nice one, because that's a PlayStation only. Bluepoint, to my knowledge, just seems to do PlayStation remasters. I could be wrong, but that's all I've really experienced from them.
Mm-hmm.
So my knowledge would be biased towards Sony. If anybody knows if they've done more with Xbox, I wouldn't know. But, I mean, a remaster of Demon Souls would be great, you know, with a much better frame rate, because From Software games are known for horrendous frame rates on the original console they come out on.
It's fair.
Frame rates!
So, okay, I'm going to dissect this comment that they made, and it says specifically PlayStation Classic. So, I'm thinking first party, and I'm thinking exclusive PlayStation, obviously. And I'm also, I'm kind of hung up on this classic word. Also, they said, let me see, to please the masses, so it's definitely a popular PlayStation title.
Okay.
I have no idea what this might be.
Well, no matter what logic you could take, I can take it down, because Crash Bandicoot was a PlayStation classic, but it's also coming out on Xbox later.
Oh.
Because it's owned by Activision. So Sony gets temporary first release.
Right.
So we get it first, motherfuckers. Well, the Sony
it's
ponies.
alright.
I can't say I'm one of you. I'm PC Master Race. But
I'm a Sony pony.
I will stoop
life.
to your level for your first party games, because Sony You're doing a great job with your first parties, even though Crash isn't your first party either. But it's still a great game. My childhood, motherfucker.
Okay, let's narrow this down a bit.
Okay.
What's first party and or PlayStation exclusive? I'm thinking Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank.
I don't think they're going to do Jak and Daxter because Jak and Daxter is coming later this year as a PS2 classic on PS4.
Oh.
So I don't think Bluepoint's going to be doing that. Yeah, the Jak and Daxter goes with if you pre-order Uncharted The Lost Legacy. You told me about that last podcast.
Oh, yeah, right. Yes.
Ratchet
I remember that.
Ratchet and Clank would be interesting, but that was already a PS3 remaster.
Mm-hmm.
So why remaster a remaster? That's basically Final Fantasy X territory.
It's true.
I think I honestly I can't. I think it would be Infamous or in the article though it does mention Shenmue Shenmue, but I don't know what that is.
Okay,
Siphon Filter would be
this one
interesting,
at you.
but okay.
What about Heavenly Sword?
I don't think I've ever played that game.
Well, it is a PlayStation classic.
But
and it would definitely benefit from a remaster.
Oh, I know why I haven't played it, because it came out in 2006, and I didn't get my PS3 until 2008. Late 2008. We're talking November.
That would definitely do it.
Yeah.
But to see Nariko's long flowing hair on the PlayStation 4 would definitely be a blessing for all.
Oh, that would be improved greatly.
Indeed.
I'd be down for it.
I definitely would too.
I'm basically, at this point, I think you agree, we're both basically down for whatever Bluepoint throws out at us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even if it's Two Girls, One Cup PS4
and
edition.
remake. PlayStation Classic and Remake is like basically the best thing on the menu. Yeah. It's the two greatest ingredients on the planet. It's like fries and patties. Like ketchup and ice cream.
Someone's drunk?
No.
Yes. Ketchup and ice cream.
Well, like, I would also love to see the really, really old games that nobody ever talks about anymore, like Primal.
Siphon Filter.
I thought Siphon Filter is another one. Tiny Tank, which will never see the light of day again, unfortunately.
You know what? I got it. Remake Mario. Bluepoint remake Mario. Put it on PS4.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Bluepoint puts out Super Mario 64 for the PlayStation. Exclusively for the PlayStation.
People better go to it immediately. It's gonna get taken down in 5 minutes.
Yeah, seriously.
It'd be massive lawsuits. Bluepoint would close down, but it would be the ultimate middle finger to Nintendo.
That'd be so awesome. I would wipe everything else from my PS4.
I was gonna save this for when Dan and I are doing a podcast, and I still will talk with him about it, but I'm gonna quickly here we are. One dev has already stated they will not support the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, really? Like straight out just said no.
Yeah.
Huh.
Due to CEO of Stardock, we will not support the Nintendo Switch. It is too different than any of the others.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And that's exactly what I was talking about.
Sorry.
That's exactly what I was talking about in terms of like dev support. If you're gonna make a console that's just like nowhere near your competitors and it's a bit far behind on what it has to offer, then you're not gonna get any development support, and this is proof of it.
And one of his quotes, and I actually agree with this, he goes, Nintendo doesn't quite arguably need third party. You think about the Mario games, Zelda, I mean, there's plenty there. I mean, if it was a $1,000 game system, maybe I'd care, but as it stands now, there's plenty to play with on the Switch that's just fine. I disagree in terms of there's not much to play on the Switch, but I get where he's going with this.
Yeah.
He's basically just saying Nintendo survives off first party when they release enough first party.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not going to support it, like their support for the Wii U first party wise was like very intermittent. It was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought to bring that up as we were talking about Mario for a second. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. But I'm gonna talk more in depth with Dan on that one because
Hear that.
we have other Switch related topics. Stay tuned. All right, it is closing time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with us. This is the 7th or 8th episode of the Triggercast.
8.
Yeah, that's what I said. We appreciate each and every one of you, especially our new subscribers and new commenters. If you have an Ask FM and you wish to ask us a question, we are located over at ask.fm/Triggercast. That's TRIGGERCAST. And I'm going to push that until someone tells me otherwise.
I'm about to be the one that tells you otherwise. Didn't we just openly admit, like, 10, 15 minutes ago we don't check it regularly? And here we are.
No, I
trying
check
to
it
plug
regularly.
Oh, you do?
I check it every day. I have the notifications on my phone, but unfortunately nobody's used that resource quite yet. But if you don't have an Ask FM, leave your question down below in the comments, and remember to specify if you want Dan or Marco to answer your question, because we are two different Triggermen, and we are on two different schedules,
Like
and it's difficult for us to answer questions.
you guys are
at the same
like
time.
pretty opposite in terms of schedules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I got you on night and I got him in the afternoon. If only one of you could get fired.
I know, right? I try every day. I try really hard.
No, it'll happen one day. It's just it's a scheduling problem. It's just, I mean, it could even be labeled country problem. I mean, even though we're in the same time zone, I'm just going to blame the two different countries.
Sure. I don't see how the borders really intervene there, but that's fine. It's
Damn
a
you,
scheduling
chain
issue,
link
and
fence.
it will happen, though. It's definitely on the horizon. Zero Dawn is a great game.
That was a great segue. But no, it'll happen. It's just going to take time.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear more of our opinions, keep up to date on the latest and greatest for PlayStation, PC, and Switch news, tune into the Triggercast.
Fuck
Remember,
Xbox.
9 out of 10 doctors recommend it. The 10th doctor was German, and he just disagrees with everything.
I have German relatives.
The 10th doctor was Mexican, and he just disagrees with everything.
That was great.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to tune in next time. Right here on the Triggercast. I am Triggerman, Reaper Wolf 91, and
I am Triggerman, Forgetful Hitman.
and we shall see you guys next time.
But we won't see you because we don't want to see you because it's a podcast. We don't even want to hear you. Just be the quiet little kids in the fucking corner and let us talk.
Holy shit. Just put the fans in the corner?
Get in the corner. That was actually a
Triggered.
really good moment in Jessica Jones when David Tennant playing Kilgrave tells the two little kids are to be seen, not heard, and go in the closet. Because Kilgrave can control people by his voice.
Right.
That was such a funny scene. It's like, Doctor, you're evil now.
I always was.
Exactly. Well, anyways, we'll see you guys next time.
Good. Bye.
Bye.